sure that we amplify our young people, young women, and ensuring that, we help them build meaningful careers, meaningful businesses, and create opportunities for them, right? So for those that don't know me, my name is Lerato Kariaka. I am CEO and founder of African Ambition. And recently just joined AFDA as one of their senior marketing lecturers. But I think for me, the one thing I love about business is that, you cannot just decide to start a business because it is a business, but you need to be brave for it because it has its own ups and downs. And whether you like it or not, there will be times where you want to give up. But I think, I am where I am is because of the career journey that I have taken to be where I am and how I started. And I think one of the things that made me become the person that I am and being successful also is that I've always made sure that, from a young age, I always persuaded marketing as a career. And just knowing very well that, one of the things that it gives you confidence, it gives you an opportunity to be able to speak about, who you are and what you're about, but also, just infusing that, allowing you to also then be able to, speak to your seniors and be able to speak up in terms of, this is the career journey that you want. And this is sort of help I would like to have, and I see the very same, energy transitions in my own business, because no matter of with running a business, you don't wait for clients to come to you. You have to be going out there and looking for clients, So it gives me a great pleasure, to be part of the panel. And I'm not alone, but I am with my amazing young marketing students in the background. So if you see an empty background, just know that it is my team there.
Hello, team.
So definitely, I just thought it would be great to have a conversation, not just by myself, but also with my fellow young people also, and my marketers, because we are out here making sure that we are producing champions and young people who are going to be our future leaders. So with that said, that is me in a nutshell. And I think it'll be great, to have my fellow panelists to also become part of this conversation. And really loving the theme being leading with a purpose, women driving change through thought leadership, careers, and entrepreneurship, and then when we are talking purpose, it's something that's super close to my heart, because you cannot start anything without having a purpose and your why, because your why will be the one that always gets you out of bed, no matter how tough it is, no matter how minus your business account is, but you always have faith and belief that it will get better, and you always are optimistic that, what, today I might not be where I am, but tomorrow it's definitely an opportunity to be where I need to be. So with that said, I am going to be introducing my fellow speakers. And I would like you ladies, as I introduce you, to also introduce yourselves, and then just talk to, the sort of work that you are doing before we get straight into the moderation. Jansita, please do come through. And once you are done on your end, then I will then call upon Wendy on our end. And lastly, our very own Mavuso to also share her journey also.
Great. Thank you very much. My name is Jacinta Roost Chutsumba. I am one of the co-founders of Youth at Work, and I'm very excited to join the session today. And one of the things that I'll be sharing once it is my slot is talking about leading with purpose, opening doors for others. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Wendy, please do come through. Looking forward to also hearing your story also, and amazing work that you are doing. I've already told my class as to, not necessarily who Wendy is, but where is Wendy coming from, and they were all like, is that a clothing brand? Is that a what? And they were like, and I'm like, oh my word. So our young people needs to be educated, you know, in terms
Yes,
of like the amazing legacy brands that we still have, right? So
yes,
yeah, please take
absolutely.
it.
Thank you
Sure.
so much, Lerato. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to our learners. Thank you so much, Lerato. Thank you to Youth at Work for inviting me to be part of this important and very necessary conversation. My name is Wendy Musetli. My career is centered across business development, media, strategic partnerships, and stakeholder engagements. I am mostly an entrepreneur at heart. So I cannot wait for this engaging discussion and I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Lerato.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. So yeah, so last and least, please do come through Mavuso. I don't want to butcher your surname, but I'm looking forward to hearing your story.
Also, you are muted. If you can unmute from your end, we can see you are on.
Hi, Congratulations.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you're good. My name is Matakanya Mobuso, and I am a businesswoman and a yes youth intern. Thank you, and I'm happy to be given this opportunity to talk to the youth, especially on this month of Women Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Lerato, we also have an alumni who also jump in and introduce themselves. So not sure if they are online. Takalani Modau, are you online?
Good afternoon, yes, I'm on.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dakalani Tau, and I am an administrative attorney. I am the founder and the director of Team Dao Attorney. I am a Yes Youth alumni, and I will be very pleased to share my journey with the Yes Youth and how I became a student. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Takalani. Over to you, Lerato.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Yeah, so really, really excited actually to be part of this. And I think for me, thank you so much, ladies, for introducing yourselves. And thank you to the alumni. I'm really looking forward to hearing as to where you are and how is it going, you know. As I always say, business is for the brave. And how have you been keeping up on your end, right? So I think just a bit of my journey, just before we go into detail, right? Um, talking about, you know, what made me start my business. So I've been in corporate for the longest time, but in 2017, when I decided that I'm going to start my own business, there was just a lot of things. You know, I was in corporate and I was doing really well. I was really in the high ranks from a seniority point of view. But also at the same time, I knew that I wanted to start my own business, right? And how do you know that you are meant to start your own business? And what makes you think that, you know, business is for you or business is not for you, right? Number one, when you are always going to have those ideas that you know what, these are the ideas that are going to solve my clients' problems, right? My clients' problems, because you can see the problems that they are currently having. And also with that said, you know, just being able to work with people, because the biggest thing with business is people, right? But also realizing that, you know what, it is not easy. There's been many times where I wanted to give up. There's been many times where I thought this is not even worth it. The abuse that you get from just being a business person, especially when those invoices are not paid, but you know very well that you still need to eat, you still need to have roof over your head, and you still need petrol to go around, right? There is this thing which is, for me, it's very basic. Running a business, it's like you basically making sure that every day we are shela, right? The same way that, you know what, we are being shellered, it's the same way that you as a business person, you always have to be shellering your potential clients. And how do you find these potential clients? And how do you make sure that, you know, these are the clients that are going to add value to your business, right? But not just that, but also building impact for your business, right? And I think if you know that you have it in you, right? You can be angry, you can be sad, you can cry overnight because something is just not going okay. But tomorrow morning, you dust yourself off and you know that, you know what, there's a bigger me than what I am doing right now. So one of the things that also got to help me is to then really believing that, you know what, I'm not doing this by myself. You know, God is the forefront of everything. No matter what happens, He will always look out for me. And guess what? It always does. Somehow, you get that notification that says, toot, toot, you know, especially when the days are dark, or someone just comes to you and say, you know what, I have this business idea and I would like you to assist me with it, right? So on those days that you're feeling like giving up, that's when somehow, naturally, supernaturally, so, you know, like things get to happen for you, right? But I think also one of the things that has also helped me to be where I am is ensuring that within my career plan, or even my lifespan while in corporate, I built relationships in different departments, right? And how that has helped me, I was then able to then say, you know what, running African Ambition for me is not just about, it's a marketing agency. It's about, how do I make sure that I'm able to transform and grow my clients' brands, right? And how do you do that? You do them using different, activities and using different strategies, right? But also part of my work was talent. So for me, it was just a matter of like, how do I take talent with me as a skill? How do I take marketing as a skill? How do I take personal branding as a skill to actually make it form part of what I'm offering from a business point of view, right? And I think that's unfortunately what our current young people are probably going to miss out, because not to have experience in corporate, some will also sort of like put you sort of in a back banner, because now some of the etiquettes that come with being corporate are learned by being in corporate, right? Because even if when you are providing a service, you'll still be providing service to corporates, right? However, because whether you are young, whether you are at my level, respect is still respect. How you send your email will still be the right way, the same way that you would send a text to your parents, right? So it's a matter of like the respect being part of it, but also being kind, being one of the most important things that you need to then do as a young person, right? And how do young people embrace leadership opportunities? I always say that as a young person, you need to make sure that you put your foot in the front. You don't wait to be chosen, you choose yourself. You make sure that in every space that you are in, you leave a mark. Gone are those days where it's always a matter of like, you want to be led, but you want to make sure that you as a leader, you lead yourself first, but you are able to lead other people. And I think that's the one thing I would love young people to have it in them, right? You know, a lot of times we're having young people who would easily tell you that that's just not part of my job description, all in the name of, I'm not interested in doing that, but I'm only interested in doing this. But the opportunity that you gain from being an all-rounder is because you then get to understand, what business you are in, what other departments are doing. But not just that, even if when you are starting your own business, you're going to make those calls yourself. You're going to get there yourself. You're going to be shellering yourself, right? You are going to get those no's. And trust me, those no's, when they hit in the beginning, they hit hard. But guess what? After that, you just dust off. It's like, it's a no. I already have a plan B after this no. And it's okay, right? And I think that's one of the things that I would love young people to actually take away from this. And just remember that, when one door closes, the other one gets to open. I think with that said, I would like to shoot straight into our panel discussion, and I want to bring in Wendy into this, right? And I just wanted to just talk to you and just bringing in strategic partnerships that create impact. Youth at work, is very big on supporting young people. It's very big on empowering young people. And here I am, I'm sitting with my second years. And for us, it's a matter of like, how do we create those strategic partnerships so that, our young people get to grow. Our young people are also exposed to opportunities. So with that said, Wendy, please do come in.
Oh, thank you so much, Lerato. That was remarkable. And I think if like the biggest takeaways to me was be brave. That's number one. You mentioned confidence in yourself. I think that's very important. Speak up and respect. I think if there are three messages that I would like to leave our young people with today is that they must be intentional. Be intentional about your life, be intentional about your career, remain adaptable, and build relationships with integrity. When you're building your relationships, ask yourself this question: is this relationship serving me or is it draining me? Is it building me or is it destroying me? So today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, is very close to heart. So for me, leadership is about recognizing the strength and potential of the people around us, creating an environment in which they can perform at their best. Is someone saying something? Sorry.
Sorry, but you can continue.
Thank you. Okay, so just to repeat my point, leadership is about recognizing the strengths and potential of the people around us and creating an environment where they can perform at their best. So to me, leading with purpose then takes a step further. It means being intentional about the people in your space, the people that you lead, the opportunities you are creating, and the impact you want to make. So intentional leadership requires us to notice people, be there, be present. It means taking the time to understand what someone does well. When we are hosting the youth, what is it that they are doing well? What is it that is limiting their growth? What is it that you are likely to have to do for them to thrive? It means having conversations and engaging with them, giving them guidance, building their confidence, like Lerato said, and creating opportunities for them to stretch themselves. So I am particularly very passionate about young people, especially young women in the workplace, because I know how that looks like. I believe South Africa has very talented young people, very innovative, full of fresh ideas. However, they are not always placed in environments that allow them to demonstrate what they can do. When a young professional is struggling, it does not automatically mean that they lack ability. And this is what I always say. Sometimes they may not feel confident, supported, or aligned to the environment that they are in, which is why they're not thriving. So it's very important for us as we lead to be able to identify those situations. And it's our responsibility to understand where the difficulties are stemming from and to find a path in which they can grow. So my second message is about adaptability. AI and digital transformation are changing how we work across media, education, healthcare, finance, and many other sectors. And I'm not an AI specialist, but in my work with the South African AI Awards, I work very closely with policymakers, with academics, and industry leaders in the space. And I can tell you now, the future of work through the lens of technology and AI is completely different to what we're seeing today. What I have learned is that young people should not approach technology only with fear. They need to understand it. We need to encourage them to question it. They need to learn how to use it responsibly. They need to use it to strengthen their work. They need to make it work for them. It's about early adopters that are going to thrive in the space. So we should encourage our youth not to fear technology, but to embrace it. So do not enter workplace and limit yourself to your job description, as Lerato said. Don't say this is not part of my job description. Be curious about your organization. Do homework about your organization, read about it, understand where you are, understand what the business is doing, understand how other departments are working, ask questions to your peers, participate in the different projects that are taking place, identify problems and find solutions. There's nothing more fulfilling than sitting in a boardroom and seeing your solution or suggestion being implemented and actually being taken through a project, and it helps an organization. So this is how we also grow in the workspace. So it is very important to be in the moment and be intentional, right? So be intentional about developing yourself. Read, stay informed. We all learn differently as people. Some people prefer reading books. Some people prefer reading articles. Some people prefer listening to podcasts. Some prefer watching YouTube tutorials. But what matters is that you continue to expand your knowledge. That is the most important thing. Give yourself time to learn. Do not compare your first year with someone that has 10 years of experience. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Be kind to yourself. Confidence develops through preparation, through practice, and through exposure. Put yourself in rooms where you will be exposed to information, to insightful conversations, and continue to learn. My third key takeaway to our young people in the room is relationships. In business development, I've learned that strong partnerships are built on trust, credibility, and consistent delivery. I cannot stress that more. A good proposal, a good idea, speaking good English, speaking well can start a conversation, but people continue working with other people that they can trust, that they can rely on, and that they can trust to deliver. So there's nothing more important than being in a workspace and making sure that you deliver, right? Build meaningful relationships before you need something from someone. Don't start building a relationship because you think, I need this now. No. Build a network, build relationships, understand what the people you are building relationships with are doing. Then when you do find yourself in a situation where you need something, that is why they say your network is your net worth. Then you will have someone to tap into. When you are given an opportunity, prepare properly. Deliver your best work. Relationships can open doors, but your character and the quality of your work is what keeps those doors open. Finally, I hope I'm still within my 10 minutes. Set goals for yourself. As young people, I think sometimes forget themselves, and time flies. The next minute, 10 years is gone. You haven't set your goals. You haven't reinvested in yourself, which is very important. Make time to fill your cup, to know who you are, to identify your own strengths, to know what you are passionate about, because those are the spaces where you are going to thrive, right? So set goals for yourself. Think about where you'd like to be in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time. Break that vision into smaller chunks and start today. If you know that 5 years' time, this Wendy is going to be this, start talking like that person, start walking like that person, start doing things that person would be doing. Practice and you will get there. In 5 years' time, you will become that person. And remember to celebrate your small wins as well as your major achievements. Be kind to yourself, I repeat. Every course completed, skills developed, project delivered, and relationship built moves you closer and closer and closer to your goal. So leadership is not only about how far we progress. As leaders, we need to remember that it's also about how many people you take along with you, how many people are able to progress because you saw them, you noticed their potential, and you created an opportunity for them. As someone that also absorbs youth, I always say, give them a chance. I know that we work under stressful conditions. We are stretched. Sometimes you're in your space and you're thinking, if I take this person on and I onboard them, when am I going to get the time to train them? When am I going to get the time to mentor them? But we are looking for CVs with experience. Where is this experience coming from if we are not opening our doors for them to gain the experience? Lerato, I think I will end there for now.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Wendy. I really appreciate it. That is such a wow, session that you've just shared with us. And I really, really love everything that you've said, embracing technology, exposing ourselves, and really making sure that we are out there shooting our shot. And building meaningful relationships. And I'm really hoping that this is the one thing that young people will take away when they leave this session, and actually make sure that, they are able to amplify it. And we are here to guide them. We are here to show them the way. We are here to empower them. We are here to hold their hand. But at some point, they need to go by themselves. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Our next panelist would be Jacinta. I would like to hear how you are leading with a purpose. I mean, you're running a very, very agile, small and big organization there, and you're doing amazing things, and how are you able to do so? And how did that translate to leading with the purpose?
Right. Thank you very much, Lerato. I think my biggest learning is that leading with purpose really is the equivalent to opening doors for others. And leaders create environments where other people can grow. I've learned that purpose isn't just something that you find, it's something that you choose every day. It's in the decisions that you make, it's the people you encourage, and also the opportunities that you create for others. I can honestly tell you that there have been many moments in my own career when I didn't feel ready. And in that case, we talk about imposter syndrome. If you don't know imposter syndrome, look it up. There's a lot of documentation about it. Whether in such situations it was about the hesitation about taking on new responsibilities or stepping into leadership, I often wished somebody would have told me, "You're ready, go do it." That moment often never came, and I had to simply take the next step anyway. And that's probably the biggest lesson to share today, is that confidence doesn't come first, courage does. It takes courage to take a first step. Later, when you look back, you realize that people won't remember that you didn't have all the answers. They'll remember your willingness to learn, your attitude, and the way that you made others feel. Another lesson for me is that resilience isn't about avoiding challenges or difficulty. Every one of us has experiences of moments of self-doubt, moments when opportunities feel bigger than what we feel ready for, moments when we wonder whether we really belong in the room. Let me tell you, yes, you belong. Don't wait until you're ready. I've certainly had those moments, and the difference isn't confidence. Once again, the difference is choosing courage. It's about stepping outside of your comfort zone, choosing to keep learning instead of standing still. While we're waiting to feel ready, opportunities can even pass us by. So don't let self-doubt become the thing that decides your future. Let courage decide. Earlier in my career, I probably measured success by promotions, bigger responsibilities, and achievements. Today, I measure success very differently. I believe leadership is about lifting as you climb. As you grow, take someone with you. As new doors open for you, open the door for someone else, or keep the door open. And finally, when you have a seat at the table, pull up another chair. Make space. Today, the questions I ask myself is, what doors did I open for somebody else? Whose path did I help to make a little easier? Whose future is different because our paths crossed? Those are the questions that define leadership for me today. Here at Youth at Work, every day we have the privilege to see what happens when someone chooses to open a door for a younger person. And as we celebrate Women's Month, I really like to highlight that more than 61% of the participants in our youth programs are indeed female. For the Anele and Soyolas out there, a first job doesn't just provide an income. It builds confidence, it creates hope, and it changes the way that somebody sees themselves. And sometimes it can also change the whole trajectory of a family. That is why I believe one of the greatest privileges of leadership is creating opportunities that help others discover what they're capable of. I've also realized that creating these opportunities isn't the responsibility of the organization. It's the responsibility of every leader, every manager, and every colleague. And every one of us here at Youth at Work carries that responsibility. Because leadership isn't measured by the title that's on your LinkedIn profile. It's measured by the people who grew because you believed in them. And in closing, lift as you climb. Build a career you can be proud of, but don't stop there. Build a career that leaves the door open a little wider than when you found it. Very often early in our careers, we're focused on finding doors that we knock on. Some of them open and some of them don't. And that's exactly how it should be. But as your career grows, don't just walk through those doors. Hold them open. Pull up another chair. Lift as you climb. Because one day someone will be exactly where you are today. So in closing, it's the 3 messages. Yes, you belong. Don't wait until you feel ready. Keep growing. Stay curious. Confidence follows courage. And help others to belong as well. Hold the door open. Pull up another chair and lift as you climb. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. That is so amazing, Jay. Such a pity that we're not here, but clock it, girl. We got you, right? We love everything that you're saying. And I think the one thing that for me, stands out is that, we rise by lifting others. And I think that's exactly that. There wouldn't have been Lerato Kadiaka, the brand, if it wasn't, other seniors that saw me, right? If it wasn't for the teachers in high school that saw me, right? Especially my English teacher. Shout out, Mrs. Cunningham. But yeah, so it's all of those people that get to see you, that get to see your work, and also just recognizing you and seeing you. And I think that's exactly that. Even in the space that I'm in, here you are, you're running a business and you have young people that are in your team. But also with that said, you know what, I encounter a lot of young people on a daily basis being a lecturer, and you are able to see that, you know what, it's on their end, it's a matter of like, we are ready for opportunities. We are hungry to actually showcase who we are as young people. And I think that's what it's about. And just, showing that confidence, but that also brings about that courage, being the first and not being afraid of being a leader. And I think that that's very important. Mavuso, I'm going to bring you in. Matakanye. I'm going to bring you in, as a youth participant, and also a hospitality assistant / entrepreneur. We want to find out, how are you able to balance work and your studies and still entrepreneurship, and finding how, like your education through yes opportunities, how has that been for you, and building resilience while pursuing multiple goals. And I think that's what we are doing. We all have all these goals that we're wanting to achieve. we have these balls in our heads, and it's a matter of like, how do you make sure that all of these are not falling on the ground? And also encouraging young women to embrace opportunities. So please do come through Mavuso so that we can hear your story as you share it.
Thank you once again for inviting me to be part of the panel. It's truly an honor to share my journey with you today. As a young woman, people often ask me how I balance work, studying, and running a business. And my answer is simple: I take it one day at a time. Some days are easy, some days are really difficult. Sometimes I even feel like crying because of the pressure of work, school deadlines, and running a business. But even on those days, I remind myself why I started. Every opportunity I get brings me one step closer to the future I want. The YES program has given me more than just work experience. It has helped me grow as a person, become more confident, and continue working towards my goals. It has also reminded me that learning never stops. Every experience teaches you something new if you are willing to learn from it. As a young woman as a young woman living with disability, I have learned that life may not always be easy, but that doesn't mean we should stop believing in ourselves. We are all different. We all have different journeys, but we all deserve the chance to grow. One thing I also believe in is that we shouldn't always wait for opportunities to come to us. Sometimes we have to create our own opportunities. I always encourage young people to be business minded. If you have an idea, don't be afraid to start. One thing about me is that I love taking chances. Sometimes I have business ideas that doesn't work out the way I hoped. Instead of giving up, I tell myself, at least I made the idea come to life. I learn from it. Another idea comes and I try again. That mindset has opened doors for me. I once took a chance of an opportunity and it led me to receiving a funding of 50,000 to support my business. If I had let fear to stop me, I would have missed that opportunity. So if I can leave you with one message today, it would be this. Don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Create them. Don't let fear stop you from starting something. Don't keep asking yourself, what if it doesn't work? Instead, ask yourself, what if it does? That's something I always tell myself, even when I'm full of doubts. I eventually say, let me just risk it. Because if you never try, you'll never know where that opportunity could take you. Thank you once again for this opportunity. And I hope my story reminds someone today that your circumstances does not decide your future. Sometimes all it takes is the courage to say, let me just risk it. Thank you.
Nice one, Mavuso. Really nice one. There's the hands. We love the hands. Definitely. Wow. So powerful to hear that you are living with a disability, but you're not a disability. And in all of that, you chose to not allow it to stop you from becoming amazing human that you are. Um, we don't have disabilities, but we have so many excuses as to why we cannot start, because I don't have money, because I don't have this, because I don't have that, right? However, here you are, you chose that you are going to start. So really, really well done on that one. And I hope it does inspire, our young people to remember that, you know what, you just have to start at the end of the day. We do have an alumni on board. And I think I would love for you to then share with us in terms of, how were you able to transition from a year's program into employment and entrepreneurship, right? And why I'm actually also asking this, one of the things that we actually pride ourselves with, at AFDA, is that we are all about wanting to ensure that our students don't think of I need to get employed as the end goal, is to then say, how do we, build future leaders, future entrepreneurs to become the future employers of our country, And I just want to find out, how did that happen to you? And also building a business while pursuing a career.
Good afternoon. It was not an easy journey to transition from being. Can you hear me? Okay, let me just proceed. That maybe you can.
Can you please speak up?
Can you? It was not easy to transition from waiting to being an entrepreneur, but then it had to take a courage from my side. When I started doing the program, I was doing my final year as an LLB student, and at that point, I never thought that I'll do any work while I'm still studying. I was not even applying, but then it just happened that I saw the years and I was like, okay, why not? Because we are no longer attending physically at school. We are attending online, which means I can do it. And when I enter into the program, I was placed at SZ part. That's where I started learning about myself professionally, my strength, what I can do, what I cannot do. That's where I started knowing that, oh, I'm a fast learner. It doesn't take me a lot of time to do work. And then the things that I had to endure while doing the program, the people that I met there, I've learned a lot from them. And then I was like, okay, this is the start. I still have to go and do what I have to do. I'm an LLB graduate. I need to be an attorney one day. So I have to change. I have to transition. But how? Because what I'm doing now is not the same as to what I am doing on the other side. And when I was working there, I met attorneys, and then I made connection. I spoke to them, and then I get a chance to do my articles. When I did my articles, it was just only me and my boss in the office. I literally do all the work. I learned how to manage an office by myself. Okay, I can do this. Then why do I have to spend more time in someone else's office when I have been able to manage it? And then it was a success. I get to a point where now I was also mentoring interns. I didn't even know how to do it, but I did that. I mentored like two interns and two candidate attorneys. And then today, those people will call and say, Tagalani, thank you so much. You are doing very well where we are. And then that time, I'm still young. I'm less than 30 years. And then the profession that I'm in, you're young, so don't take it for granted. But then, if you have the support, don't take it for granted. And for me, I feel like my best support was my family. They're the one who encouraged me to like, leave that place, leave that workplace, open your own thing, you can do this. But I was like, no, I don't have the capital. I can't do it. What if I go out, I fail? And then what if I don't even reach 1 year with this firm? Buying a firm is not important. But then today, this month, I'm going to celebrate 1 year of my office. And then I've done so well for myself. And then I feel like with the youth also giving us an opportunity again as youth alumni, when they're guiding us regarding the business, how to run our businesses, they're offering us those kind of session every week. It's helping a lot in growing my business. So you only need to have the courage. You need to believe in yourself. I feel like if I didn't believe in myself, I was not gonna be here today. I was still gonna be like, okay, let me work, save some money, and then when the money is enough, then I can open a firm. But then I didn't know that if I had not taken this opportunity, where would I be now? I would have been where I want to be. And then the answer is no. So it's about believing in yourself. And I've just realized that when you believe in yourself, the universe also open things for you. I didn't know how I was gonna get clients, but with the relationship that I've made while I was still working, the clients that I've engaged with, it was easy. Okay, I have just find messages that my audio is bad. Let me just try and fix that. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are, Tagalani. It's much
Because I'm
better.
using
Thank you.
headsets, that's why I'm not audible. So I was just still saying that it only need courage and for you to start. You don't have to wait, because if you want to wait, you'll keep waiting. You will wait forever. So if you feel like you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a business person, you want to create employment, you just have to go for it. You need to go for it. So I think I will have to close, as I have been talking and you guys couldn't hear me, but just take a chance at yourself. Use the support that you have. If your family are supporting you, don't take that for granted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Takalani. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I think biggest takeaway there is take a chance on yourself, because no one else will. Actually, again, if you don't bet on yourself, no one else will bet on you, right? Just looking at the time, we don't have much time left. But thank you so much to my panelists who have shared their stories, who have shared their journeys, and have also shared in terms of empowering our young people, and also the work that we are doing in the background. I think because of time, I'm going to be opening it up to a Q&A. I see that Denswalo, I'm not sure, Dineo, are you going to be opening up the mics for everyone, or they can just go on so that they can ask questions? But I think go ahead, whoever that has their hand up, and then just say whom you are addressing the question to, so that we are able to know how to go about it answering.
Yes, Lerato, if they can also raise their hand for a bit of order. So if you have a question for any panelists who've shared their story, please just raise your hand and direct your question. Okay, see there's a hand from Magnificent. You can unmute.
Hello, everyone. No, for me, just wanted to say thank you so much for a nice session. To all your panelists, it was nice, like, to hear from other people whom I think they have just made it, and for those ideas. For me, speaking for myself, I'm so honored to be part of this program. I'm so honored to be part of this survey. Thank you so much for this. That's all.
Thank you. We also have another question from Junaid. You can also unmute.
Hey guys, no, it's not necessarily a question. I also just wanted to, share my gratitude to everyone who presented. The guidance was really impeccable. So thank you very much. And I think one last thing on the admin side of things, the register says for everyone that we've completed it after, we're doing it once. Do we know what's the issue there?
Sorry, Junaid, can you repeat that? The issue with?
I was saying, if you look at the chat, everyone says the register keeps on saying that we've completed it. Even once we're doing it for once. I mean, for the first time.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for bringing that up. We will look into it and reshare the link again on the chats. Okay, any other questions, guys? Please feel free to raise your hand. You can also type on the chats. Okay, we also have another hand from Zwangkop's Conversary. Yes, intense. You can also unmute.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. This is Liam from Jacobs Conservancy. I have a question for the first speaker or any member of the panel. You mentioned that we shouldn't have this is not in my job description sort of attitude when when you're asked to go the extra mile. But now how do we navigate being exploited versus exposure? Like how do you find that fine line when you're new to employment, through the YES program? Because yes, you want to learn, you want to absorb as much as you can, but you also don't want to be exploited on the other hand. Thank you.
Thank you for that. When did you want to take it?
Thank you, Lerato. Sure. That's a tricky one, but very important. I think we are trusting and believing that where we are exposing our youth, we are exposing them to businesses with integrity and under the leadership of people that are leading with also integrity and hoping that they are doing what is best for the youth. So taking that into consideration, I also feel that is if you can feel it, you know what the job description is. For instance, if your job description relates to social media or something technical, what if now you asked to run to the stores, to clean, to sweep or whatever, then you know that there's a bit of exploitation there. However, if it is relating to your job, even if it's not listed as an item on your job description, I think that you also as a graduate can tell that this is learning and not exploitation. I think there is a line there that you yourself can tell that this is more learning. Yeah.
100% right, Wendy. Thank you so much. Any more questions as we wrap up? Okay. I'm not seeing any hands. Janelle, do you want to come in so that we're able to close?
Yeah.
Hello, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to speak without raising your hand, so I thought maybe we are just closing now. So I'm saying we still have a problem. Someone said send another link, but you're still suffering the same issue. It tells us that you already submitted the survey.
I think, oh my word, okay.
We are working on that. Please don't leave the meeting without having to complete the register. We will reshare the new one just shortly. Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Sorry,
I think we are ready.
hello?
Yes, you can
Hello?
ask.
Tell me something. I just want to find out, man. When you're done with the timesheet, né? The timesheet. If you're done with it, so what's gonna happen after this?
Remember, it needs to be approved by your supervisor, Keegan, so that we are able to receive that you've completed the timesheet for the week. So please ensure that your supervisor is able to approve and have access to the online portal.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, we've reshared another link on the chats. I hope it works. Please try it out. It's on the chats. Please do not leave the meeting without completing the register.
Awesome. Thank you. Janelle, are you able to just share the final words so that we can wrap up on our end? But I think with everything that has been said, thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you to all the young people that have joined us. Really hoping that the conversation of today, the wisdom that was shared, you are able to apply it to your careers. You are able to apply it to the host employers that you are engaging with. And as you are also looking for opportunities, make sure that you don't forget to take a chance on yourself. With that said, my name is Lerato Kadiaka. I speak all things brave because business is for the brave. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lerato, and thank you to all our panelists, Wendy, Jacinta, Mavuso, the alumni. We're all amazing. I hope that today the youth will come out more motivated to even to someone who never thought about entrepreneurship, but today you're more motivated to even start something for yourself. It was wonderful having everybody online. And also thank you again, Lerato, for your time and for the moderation and being our guest speaker. It was also wonderful to have you today.